You say I make you nervous, a tragedy, I'm a beautiful disaster, a reckoning, you wonder how I got this way. You think I'm someone to be saved, someone to clean up and tame. Oh, some things never change, never change. You think I would look pretty on your arm once you cover up my bruises and battle scars, but it always ends the same. Can't bear the things I've had to face, got you crying on your knees in pain. Oh, some things never change, never change. You break your heart to make me feel again, suffocate to make me breathe again. Lose your mind from madness, some things never change, never change. Redemption never came. I stopped asking for forgiveness, 'cause you should know only fools tread where the angels fear to go, but you keep trying to get too close. Save myself by turning into stone, so save your judgment.
YouTube family, what's good with you? It's your boy 2A in the lane. As always, fam, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes is just my personal opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, fam, I should go ahead and tap that like button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Come on in. You can join the congregation by smashing that subscribe button and requesting all post notifications. And if you are an existing supporter of this channel, I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. You are the reason this channel is anything. All right, fam, let's get this episode rolling. So if you haven't seen my initial impressions video on the Jacob Grey Hex, make sure you go back and check it out. But this is the full review of Jacob Grey's most recent offering, the Jacob Grey Hex. This gun also won New Gun of the Year at 2025 SHOT Show. So one of the things that I alluded to in that my first impressions episode is that I have a lot of experience with Jacob Grey. I've done reviews now on the original TWC9, and I've done reviews on my own personal Covert Limited Edition TWC9. The only one I haven't done a review on is the black model, which is really the original TWC9 with some of the parts blacked out. And now we are doing the Jacob Grey Hex. So these two guns are very, very similar. I want to say that, you know, Jacob Grey copied some of Covert's homework when they created the limited edition version, and when they came up with the Hex model. Now, the primary difference between the two, first of all, let's talk about the similarities. Both have kind of the 10 barrel, both are ported, both have the upgraded kind of aesthetics with the all blacked out grip screws and whatnot. Key difference is number one, the hexagonal grip module that you see here, the coloring obviously on the grip module and the frame, and the kind of skeletonized trigger that you see in the Hex, where the Covert model has that blacked out trigger, right? Other than that, the guns are very similar. I would say this, that I found both of them to be really, really good shooters. In terms of setup, mine is set up with that Acro as well as the Streamlight TLR1 HLLX. Don't have a light on this one, but it's set up with the Trijicon RMR HD. Both really good optics. Look, without further ado, let's get into the review. All right, fam, if you are unfamiliar with a 2A NLA review, essentially you can get a score from 0 to 100. No gun has ever got a 0. No gun has ever got 100, but we hold out hope, right? If you get a score somewhere between kind of 50 and 60, that's middle of the road. Think a Glock 17 Gen 5, right? If you get something something that's very, very reliable, gonna go bang every time, but no real feels or thrills. If you got something 60 to 70, that gun probably has a quality or two that separates itself from the mean. If you got something kind of 70 to 80, okay, you've got a gun that's probably pretty feature rich and kind of sets itself above the class. If you've got something that's kind of 80 to 90, now you're kind of best in class territory, particularly if you're kind of at the higher end of that scale, kind of 85 to 89. And if you've got something 90 and above, that's grill gun status. All right, fam, first up, fit and finish. Jacob Grey has a background in machining, primarily in the aerospace industry. One of the things that attracted me to the TWC9 originally was how well constructed the gun was. All metal gun at a staccato C2 price point, arguably better machined with better quality componentry. I think Jacob Grey does a really, really good job. Now, the original gun and my limited edition was DLC coated. I'm not sure if this is a Cerakote or a PVD. I'll put it up there so you can review it. But tolerances are really, really good. Slide to frame fit, no wiggle. Slide to frame fit, no wiggle in the gun whatsoever. Barrel fitment is really, really good. Grip to frame fit is really solid. Yeah, fam, I think, yeah. Jacob Grey does a really, really good job. Fit and finish, we're going to give it a 13 out of a possible 15. All right, fam, next up, reliability. Look, I put about 1,000 rounds through the Hex. I've got a lot of trigger time on the Jacob Grey models. Probably got about 2,000 to 3,000 rounds through my limited edition covert version, and did 1,000 rounds on the original. And all that time, you know, probably about 5,000 rounds through the TWC9 in one form or another. To my recollection, there's only one malfunction and had no hiccups relative to the Hex. So we're going to go ahead and give the Hex a 14 out of a possible 15 for reliability. All right, fam. Next up, durability. Like I said, all metal construction, really good tolerances. The gun is very, very well made, well done. Like I said, not a lot of difference between the two of these, primarily just the coloring of the gun and the different grip model. But yeah, I think durability, if you take care of the gun, it's going to take care of you. We're going to go ahead and we're going to give it 13 out of a possible 15 for durability. All right, fam, next up, trigger. Look. No take up. You're essentially at the wall. Clear defined wall. Crisp clean break. Reset. Very well done. I'll go ahead and I'll put the trigger pull weight up there, but I think the trigger is very well done. You guys know I'm a trigger snob, but at this price point to have a trigger that's this good is not very common. We're gonna go ahead for trigger and give it a 13 out of a possible 15. All right, fam, next up, accuracy. Look, bull barrel going through a 4 1/4 gun. I found the gun to be very accurate, very similar to the original TWC9, as well as the covert limited edition version. For accuracy, we're going to give it an 8 out of a possible 10 points. Next up, ergonomics. Now this one, fam, obviously grip angle is the same on all the different evolutions of the different models. However, where covert took the original grip and kind of enhanced it, Jacob Grey with the Hex obviously took the grip in a different direction, and I can say I like it better. It's a better feeling gun in the hands. I think this grip module is tacky. When I say tacky, I mean a little more sticky, a little more gritty, has a little more texture to it, while this one, while more textured than the original, doesn't feel nearly as good as this one. So I love the way this gun feels in the hands. Ergonomics, we're going to give it a 10 out of a possible 10. All right, fam, next up, we're going to lump these two categories together: aftermarket support as well as maintenance and upkeep. Over 48 companies are making 2011s now. More and more aftermarket support is flooding into the marketplace. It's not Glock level, but getting there. We're going to give a 4 out of 5 for aftermarket support. Relative to maintenance and upkeep, 2011, you got to keep it clean, you know, every 1,000 rounds, break it down, clean it out. You take care of it, it'll take care of you, kind of thing. Also, maintenance and upkeep, 4 out of a possible 5. All right, fam, next up, affordability. I'll go ahead and I'll put the MSRP up there. Look, fam, when Jacob Grey came on the scene with the original TWC9 and they were at kind of like a $2,500 price point, I felt like they hit the nail on the head. With the improvements to the black, the improvements to the Covert limited edition, and now the improvements with the Hex, the price keeps creeping up there. And so I think now the Hex is right around $3,500 or somewhere in there. I like the gun a lot better when it was $2,500. Now that they're $3,500, they're right up there with kind of the MPAs of the world and the Voodoos of the world, and I liked them better when it was a $2,500 gun. I'm not going to lie, but in the world of 2011s, it's crazy to say $3,500 is still relatively affordable. So for affordability, we're going to give it a 3 out of a possible 5. All right, fam. Last but certainly not least, flex. Is Instagram gonna go crazy? Are your boys gonna be like, damn? Yeah, I think so, fam. Look, it's an attractive looking gun. It's got a very unique grip module, the skeletonized trigger. It's ported. It's got that tin barrel. I think it's a good looking gun. And I'll say this, I should have mentioned this earlier. If green is not your jam, they also have it in FDE, and they also have it in all black. So, you know, you can kind of pick your poison relative to that. Flex points, I think it's solid. We're going to give it a 3 out of a possible 5 for flex. All right, fam, you add all of that up, you get an 85 out of a possible 100 points. I think the original TWC9 came in around 83, somewhere in that ballpark. I think the limited edition Covert version came in right around 85, 86, somewhere in there. So it doesn't surprise me that the Hex falls right in that same range, given how similar the two firearms are. So I want to shout out Covert for loaning me the Hex to be able to bring you a review. I was not going to buy the Hex because I already had the Covert limited edition, which I kind of like a little bit better, I think. That's just me. But no doubt, if you are looking for a 4 1/4 gun at a relatively affordable price, the Hex is something you should consider. It's a very, very good shooting gun. I certainly like it. If I didn't already have the Covert limited edition, this is something I would definitely consider. So yeah, fam, the Jacob Grey Hex. All right, fam, that's it for this episode. Until next time, as always, take care of one another and peace.